So back when I did my first unboxing of the Xbox Series X, I mentioned that I immediately knew this. Okay, this isn't even anything news, but I already knew that the Xbox Series X was built better in a more heat management sort of way. Whatever you want to look at it, the Xbox Series X is better for dissipating heat away from the console. In fact, here is proof in that video that I said that. The Xbox Series X is built, in my opinion, better heat management than the PlayStation 5. I don't have the PlayStation 5 yet. That's coming out tomorrow. I will do an unboxing video of that for sure. But the Xbox Series X, if you take a look at it, right? Let's take a look at it together, shall we? Shall we, friends? So all the air is coming in through the bottom and a little bit from the back. So it's pushing all that air through and up. And guess what? Heat naturally rises up. And it kind of looks like I was right, because the PS5 gets a little toasty. If you are a PC nerd like I am, what's up? You'd probably know the channel by the name of Gamers Nexus. He does everything PC related, and that guy goes in depth. Well, he recently did thermal testing of the PS5 using, listen man, I don't know, the prongs, those temperature sensing prongs things. Anyway, he put those inside the console, connected it to multiple components. He put the PS5 back together. He played Astro's Playroom for an hour, and he did thermal testing of exactly what was going on in the console. Now, all of them ran pretty good. In fact, 70 Celsius or under, they all ran, except one. As you see, one of the memory units went to 93 degrees Celsius, and I can see why many people think that is a problem. And depending on the situation, it can be a problem. The reason why I'm personally not really worried is because if you ever had a MacBook Air or a MacBook Pro, you know those things go to 100 degrees Celsius like nothing, especially if you're editing videos like I do every single day. They go to 100 degrees Celsius, the fans spin up louder than you think you guys thought the PS4 Pro was loud? Oh boy. So seeing that the PS5's memory unit went to 93 degrees Celsius may be shocking to some PC guys out there that are used to their PC being full blast at around 65, 70 degrees Celsius, which does make sense. It's 93 degrees Celsius is a little bit alarming for a lot of people that understand that sort of thing. So I'm gonna play the devil's advocate here. I'm gonna go with PlayStation and then I'm gonna go against PlayStation, okay? So I don't think it's a major deal because the fan in the PlayStation would simply spin faster if one of the components is reaching a threshold of heat. The fact that the fan isn't really spinning to keep that 93 down to, for example, 89 or 85, that must signify that it is, well, pretty normal. For example, the MacBook Pro and the MacBook Air, once it reaches 100 degrees Celsius, the fans kick up louder than you've ever heard in your life, and it brings it down a little bit, then the fans slow down, and then the CPU gets hot again, and the fans spin up again. That's kind of how it works. But again, we just need to see where this is going to go, okay? The console is still really new. Even if it does do damage, it's way too early to notice any sort of damage coming from heat. The console's barely been out a month. I mean, not even a month, like what, 2 weeks? We'll see where this takes us in the coming months, in the coming years, when people really put in hours and hours and, well, let's be honest, hundreds of hours onto the console. But again, man, the Xbox's way of cooling is freaking genius. Genius. I mean, so genius. I mean, that's why for me, the Xbox, which you guys can't see, but it's right there, is quieter than the PS5. Not by a lot, but it's noticeable. Sony should have just done what Microsoft did and installed an actual vapor chamber instead of having the heatsink take up half the freaking console. If you guys have seen teardowns of the PS5, that heatsink is massive. But the actual heatsink that cools off the memory is very tiny, very tiny. So, you know, a better design would have been helpful. Or if they didn't want to do anything like that, they should have just put in some vent holes or vent slots on the side of the two, you know, the two white panels, because Gamers Nexus did a test of that. He took off both panels and the temperature on all sensors went down by 5 degrees Celsius. And that is a big deal. That may not sound like a lot, but that is a lot. But it also depends what that particular memory unit's heat threshold is. Some electronics can I mean, some graphics cards out there even run normally at 110 degrees Celsius. That's hot. That shouldn't even make sense. But there are graphics cards out there that do run at that temperature. So we just don't know anything about what sort of memory unit they're using, what its heat threshold is, how much damage is going to occur over time. We just don't know. It's too early to tell. So worrying right now is kind of, I don't want to say pointless, because again, time will tell. What if millions of PS5s is going to fail in 1 week? That would be a problem. This was Mark for Mark's Tech. Adios.